On shopping at the Apple Store in person in the 2010s decade. Today is Monday, 8 December 2025, and here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, reflect on shopping at the Apple Store in person in the 2010s decade when I lived in Albany, California. I utilized the store in relation to a new computer, a new iPhone, accessories for my devices, and repairs. I ruminate if this is something I would continue in residing with my soulmates. Yes, so since I'm, I now have a playlist broaching soulmate residency. I was like, well, why don't we take something from my past that I've done and then be like, would I do this with my soulmate and residing together, moving in, living together? So, I say, so how was it gone shopping at the Apple Store? Well, let's start off with, I was the first person in my family to get an iPhone as a smartphone. However, I was not first in my family to get a smartphone. That was my dad. He had a BlackBerry. And back when the iPhones initially came out, my dad asked me if I wanted a kit to build like a car, a model car kind of thing, or an iPhone or something else. And I was like, I want an iPhone because I really wanted an iPhone. And so we went to, if I'm recalling correctly, we went to the AT&T store to get that iPhone. And then I bought a number of iPhones or computers, laptop computers since then from Apple. However, in the 2010s decade, and when I was living in Albany, California, I went to the 4th Street Apple Store. I even had a home Apple Store, where I got a number of stuff. So a new computer, a new iPhone. I got or like I might purchase on store, go in person and pick it up. I got a wireless charging stand I did for my running training. I chose I think this is actually the same phone in case I got back in 2019, over 6.00 years ago. It was like the first half of 2019. And so I still have this leather case, and I was like, I'm getting the leather case because I'm a runner, and I put it on my arm, and they had a soft case, but I was like, that'll just rub the water moisture or sweat moisture, or will just rub it. And I was like, with leather, I actually found that leather handles sweat moisture quite well. That's part of being a field geologist. And then I had an iPhone 5S before this iPhone XS, and I dropped it and broke the screen. And so I took it in to the Apple Store and they repaired it. And so I've been there for products and services. And I've only had good experiences. I've had some of my devices have had the computer I got brand new. I had a weird clicking kind of sound with the mouse pad. And it still does that, but not with the mouse pad. But and it comes and it goes and that kind of stuff. There's that, and I love Apple. But would I return to it shopping in person at the Apple Store with residing with my soulmate? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I've brought up looking at Samsung and iPhone at the AT&T store in the not too distant future. I'm thinking tentatively this coming Thursday for looking at a potential Christmas present. However, my parents offered to take me. I was like, so even if I were to go with Samsung, which I think the cheapest option my dad was kind of offering was an iPhone option, 16E. And so I was kind of like, but if, that doesn't mean, even if I were to go with Samsung, I still have laptop computers. There's a box on my shelf for a time capsule. There's other Apple stuff. So yes, but as for what we might get from there, that is open. I'm open to that. I will say my behavior and selections have been for particular item specifications, not which is the biggest deal. So if you're a biggest deal shopper, you and I are not the same. Yes, I don't go with the cheapest product. I tend to have 3 or 4 criteria, and that tends to be selective enough that I am limited down to one thing for what I'm going in for. And then with my XS, I paid a little bit more for it to have 256 gigabytes of storage space. So I'm not it has to be the cheapest option. That's not, with my technology stuff, I've actually done not the that's not something I've done for my shopping selections. So there we go. That's on shopping at the Apple Store in person in the 2010s decade.